Good afternoon, students. Myself, Munshi Rashidul Islam, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, JIS College of Engineering. Now, today we have discussed about the new topic, and the same module will be same, and the topic will be the new topic, and that topic name is moment of inertia. Last day we have already completed the topic that is actually center of gravity, and now today we have discussed with a new point and new lesson, that is moment of inertia. So let us see moment of inertia. Moment of inertia funda that is coming from the main point, that is moment. So first of all, we have to know that what is moment. So we know that the moment is actually the product of force into perpendicular distance. But if I consider the moment of a force about any point is the product of the force and the perpendicular distance between the points and the line of action of the force. So that means if P is actually force and the perpendicular distance is x, so total product will be P into x. Now this moment is also called first moment of force, and if this moment is again multiplied by the perpendicular distance x between the point and the line of action of the force, so px into x, that means px square, then this quantity is called moment of force, moment of the moment of a force, or second moment of force, or simply moment of inertia, which is briefly written as m dot I. Now some method can be followed during the moment of inertia calculation. So first one, it is a measure of an object resistance to change to its rotation, number 1 point. Number 2, also defined as the capacity of a cross section to resist bending. Number 3, it must be specified with respect to a chosen axis of rotation. And number 4, it is usually quantified in meter cube or kg meter square. Now here the two theorem we can derive here, or two theorem we can follow. One is perpendicular axis theorem, another is parallel axis theorem. So to find out the moment of inertia of any standard figure, so we specially used the parallel axis theorem. And if I apply the parallel axis theorem, so obviously perpendicular axis theorem is fast to calculate, otherwise you cannot apply the parallel axis theorem in the regarding moment of inertia problem. So now, starting from the parallel axis theorem, the moment of inertia of an area about an axis that is perpendicular to its plane, or polar moment of inertia at any point O, which is equal to the sum of the moment of inertia about any two mutually perpendicular axes through the same point O, which is actually denoted in this screen. In this screen means in this slide. So lying on the same plane of the area. So referring from the figure, if ZZ is the axis normal to the plane of paper passing through the point O, so as per the theorem we can write IZZ. Here I means moment of inertia in ZZ axis. So IZZ is equal to IXX plus IYY. The above theorem can be easily proved. And now consider an elemental area small dA at a distance of r from O. So let the coordinates of dA be x and y. Now then, from the definitions, IZZ is equal to summation of r square into dA. Here r square is equal means we can replace r square in terms of x and y. So x square plus y square dA. Now summation of x square into dA plus summation of y square into dA. That means IZZ is equal to IXX plus IYY. Next point is parallel axis theorem. Now in parallel axis theorem, the moment of inertia about any axis in the plane of an area is equal to the sum of the moment of inertia about a parallel centroidal axis and the product of area and the square of the distance between the two parallel axes. And referring from the figure in the above mentioned theorem, so if I consider the reference line, that will be AB, so we can write IAB is equal to IGG plus AYC square. AYC square. Here IAB is equal to moment of inertia about axis AB. IGG is equal to moment of inertia about centroidal axis GG, and that will parallel to AB. A is equal to area of the plane figure, that is given here. YC is equal to the distance between the axis AB and the parallel centroidal axis GG. Now that is actually the statement, and now proof how it will come. Consider an elemental parallel strip with dA at a distance y from the centroidal axis. So IAB is equal to summation of y plus yc square dA. Now summation of y square y plus yc square, that means a plus b whole square formula if I apply. So y square plus 2y yc plus yc square dA. Now summation of y square dA plus summation of 2y yc dA plus summation of yc square dA. Now summation of y square dA is equal to moment of inertia about the axis GG. So we can write summation of 2y yc dA is equal to 2yc summation of y dA. Now 2yc a summation of y dA by a. In the above term, 2yc a is constant and summation of y dA by a is the distance of centroid from the reference axis GG. Since GG is passing through the centroid itself, so y dA by a is 0, and hence the term summation of 2y yc dA is 0. Now the third term, summation of y square dA is equal to y square yc square summation of dA, that means a into yc square. So IAB is equal to IGG plus AYC square. Now one question is there. The above equation cannot be applied to any of two parallel axes. One of the axis GG must be centroidal axis only. Now radius of gyration. radius of gyration of a mathematical term defined by the relation k is equal to root of I by a, where k is equal to radius of gyration, I is equal to moment of inertia, a is equal to cross sectional area. Suffix with moment of inertia I is also accompanying the term of radius of gyration k. So now kx is equal to root of ixx by a, kyy is equal to root of iyy by a, and kab is equal to root of iab by a. And now the relationship between the radius of gyration and moment of inertia can also be written in the form I is equal to a k square. In the above geometry of the equations can be assigned to the term of radius of gyration, and we can consider k is as the distance at which the complete area is squeezed and kept as a strip of negligible width, such that there is no change in the moment of inertia. Now moment of inertia from the first principle. For simple figures, moment of inertia can be obtained by writing the general expression for an element and then carrying out integration so as to cover the entire area. This procedure is illustrated with the following three cases. Number one case is moment of inertia of a rectangle about the centroidal axis, moment of inertia of a triangle about the base, moment of inertia of a circle about the diametral axis. Now this is actually the case of a rectangle. So moment of inertia of a rectangle about the centroidal axis. So consider a rectangle with b and the depth d. So moment of inertia about the centroidal axis xx, which is parallel to x-axis and to the short side, is required. Consider an elemental strip of width dy at a distance y from the axis. Now the moment of inertia of the elemental strip about the centroidal axis is xx is equal to y square into dA, and y square and dA means b into dy. The elemental figure also be there. Now ixx is equal to minus d by 2 to d by 2 y square b dy. B is the constant value is coming out. Now b into y cube by 3 d by 2 to minus d by 2 to capital D by, plus d by 2. So I actually, after putting all the value, ixx is equal to b d cube by 12. Now moment of inertia of a standard figure, standard sections. So ixx is equal to b d cube by 12 as derived from the first principle. Second, iyy is equal to db cube by 12 can be derived on the same lines about the base AB from the parallel axis theorem. IAB is equal to ixx plus ay square. Ixx is equal to b d cube by 12 plus a means b into d and yc means d by 2 squares. Since yc is equal to d by 2, so b d cube by 12 plus b d cube by 4. So actually IAB is equal to b d cube by 3. Now for a hollow rectangular section, if I consider the rectangular section with hollow portion, so moment of inertia Ixx is equal to moment of inertia of a large rectangle minus moment of inertia of the hollow portion. So as per the conditions we can apply. If the outside breadth is b and depth is capital D, so we can write capital B d cube by 12 minus inside breadth and depth will be b and d. So capital B d cube by 12 minus small d b d cube by 12. So actual value will be in hollow rectangular section. So Ixx is equal to 1 by 12 capital B dq minus small b dq. So in today's class we have discussed from the starting point of the moment of inertia how it will coming from the main equations, and is there any helping conditions, sorry, is there any help from the center of gravity. So we know we have discussed in this class perpendicular axis theorem, parallel axis theorem, and the two applications of two derivation of hollow rectangular section and rectangular section. Now next class we have discussed the circular section and triangular section, how to find out the moment of inertia with the help of parallel axis theorem. Thank you.